Oh, can we please talk about UFC Vegas 49, now headlined by Bobby Green versus Islam Makashev. Obviously, the original main event was meant to be Makashev against Beneil Dariush, but Dariush has gotten injured. It happens. But Bobby Green stepping up, short notice. I wonder how that was going to go. I think most people have a pretty good idea. Anyway, I'm going to be doing my usual thing, breaking down a couple of the fights on it. Only really 3 fights on this one. There's not really a huge amount that's captured my attention massively. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some really stellar fights on this card, but there's not really an awful lot of star power. There's going to be some good scraps, but it's not like it doesn't capture my imagination like last week's card. I'll put it that way. I probably won't be staying up to watch this one. I'll watch it in the morning with some bacon and some eggs and some coffee. It'll be good. It'll be nice. It'll be fun to watch. But yeah, there are a couple of fights that I think are worth putting a ridiculously terrible bet on. And we can all see how awful that's going to play out next week. It's fun to do. And yeah, so if that sounds good, stick with me for the Burt Locker fights in 15. This was probably going to be closer to 7 for UFC Vegas 49. Right, so we're going to start off with the ladies. We've got Josiani Nunez against Ramona Pasquale. Now, Pasquale has the reach, she has the height, but I think that is more or less it. I don't know a huge amount about Ramona Pasquale, but Nunez, she flatlines people. She has been looking really good. She basically gets knockouts just in the first round. Look at those traps. Like, she's got some traps on her. Which makes it actually probably harder for her to be knocked out, I would imagine, because you have the same thing with like guys like Yoel Romero. Like he's like it's hard to literally give him that concussive knockout. And Nunez, she hits really hard. I think that she is going to close the distance. She's probably going to knock out Pasquale. Pasquale possibly has enough reach to try and keep her off her for for maybe a round. And I think so. I'm going with second round knockout for Nunez. You're getting +6 on that, 5-1. Terrible bet. Absolutely terrible. You also have Misha Kirkunov against Wellington Turman. Now, Misha Kirkunov is a slight favourite here. I think that's rightly so. He is an absolute beast as well. I mean, he is so ripped. It's ridiculous. He's massive. That's why he actually moved from... He used to fight at light heavyweight. That's where he fought Ryan Spann and all those fellas. You know, he came unstuck because he was a little bit undersized for light heavyweight, but he's bloody massive for a middleweight. So I think that he probably should be the favourite here because... both of these guys are really good at submissions. Like Turman is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in his own right. Kirkunov is just he's a submission specialist. I think that's possibly going to mean this one goes the distance. Obviously, Kirkunov, he lost his middleweight debut to Jotko, which doesn't fill me with confidence because I don't rate Jotko that highly. He came in with loads of hype, but he just seems to be a little bit uninspiring. And to lose a split decision to Jotko, whilst it was close, I'm kind of like, if you didn't do enough to beat Jotko convincingly, I'm not sure where that puts you. But on the feet, which I think is where this one might play out more, because I don't know if they might want to test each other's grappling, you never know. But I think on the feet, Kirkunov probably has an advantage. Both of them are tough as hell, so I just think that this one's got a decision all over it. I think it's going to be a split. I think it's going to be very close. But I think it goes to Kirkunov by decision. You're getting 5.50, so you're getting like 4.5 to 1 on that. Terrible bet. Absolutely awful. Bet the house on Wellington Turman now, by submission probably. And then you've got the main event, Islam Makashev against Bobby Green. Well, on paper, Bobby Green's one of the biggest underdogs I've ever seen. He's +750, which is, 6.5 to 1 just to win. Which, I don't know if that's fair or not, to be in all honesty, because... look, anybody has a chance of winning this fight. He definitely should be an underdog because against Makashev, Makashev's an absolute animal, isn't he? The problem you've got here is Bobby Green, his style, if he can start putting punches together, slipping out of the way like he does, because what he does is he slips out of the way and he hits back and he taunts him and he gets in their head and he talks a bunch of shit. He is crazy to watch. He's a brawler. He's fun. He's so much fun. And that's why, if Bobby Green wins this fight, that's really interesting. It puts him in a great position because he is so entertaining and the fans love to see him so much. He'd almost be undeniable for a title shot at that point. You know, he's just beating Islam Makashev. You'd have to reward the bloke if he came in and did that. I don't think necessarily that is going to happen, because the problem is Makashev's got very good kicks, so I don't know if it stays in boxing range enough for Bobby Green to really get his rhythm going, which is a real problem. That being said, it's not like it's impossible that Makashev gets knocked out, because we've seen him get knocked out already. You know, Adriano Martins cleaned Makashev's clock, and it wasn't like a technicality defeat or whatever like on John Jones's record. That was a legit, he got his head knocked off. He was knocked out. He went lunging in off balance with a big overhand left and or right, and either way, yeah, it was a left, and then I think Martins came back with a counter right or counter left. I forget. I watched it yesterday. I can't remember, but either way, it was just a really good counter hook from Martins that just put Makashev down. So you know that Makashev can be knocked out, right? And let's be fair, if it stays in boxing range, you have to give that advantage to Bobby Green. He's probably going to be better in boxing range. Problem is those kicks. Makashev actually does have pretty good stand-up himself. Obviously, he's known as this Dagestani wrestler guy, but you have to think that actually he's probably got better stand-up than most of those Dagestani-style guys. And his kicks are really good, and that's what's going to make life difficult for Bobby Green, because at kicking range, he's not really... Because you saw it against Venata. When Venata hit him with all those kicks, all of a sudden it was like Bobby Green wasn't in his boxing range doing his thing. If Islam Makashev does let Bobby Green into boxing range and Bobby Green starts feeling himself, Bobby Green could win this fight. It's unlikely, but that's where my money is going, because at the end of the day, I love an underdog, and there is no bigger underdog on this card. I think he's the biggest underdog of the year, so obviously I'm going with Bobby Green, just to get the win, baby. 7.50, that's 6.5 to 1. That is absolutely terrible, going against the surefire winner, Islam Makashev, but you know what? I want to believe. I just want to believe in Bobby Green, because I'm just such a big fan of his style. I would love to see him put a stop to Islam Makashev. I really would, because I think it would be good for the division. Because yeah, what we need in the lightweight division is another Dagestani wrestler who's just going to literally take every fight to the ground, and it's just going to be the same fight in, fight out. Join, yeah, we need more of that, don't we? More of that, please. No, come on. Bobby Green, I want him to hit Makashev in boxing range, hit him a lot, duck out of the way of all his return punches, and bang, 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 and hit him and stick his tongue out and talk a load of shit at him. Make his life fucking miserable for 5 goddamn rounds, and maybe even get him out of there. I know I'm dreaming. I know that is unrealistic expectations, but god damn it, do I want it to happen. Bobby Green, I'm with you, mate. Go out there, get it done. You've got nothing to lose. You're playing with the house's money. This is literally like what, like Joan, it's not like you've got a massive ranking to lose. It's not like you've got an undefeated record. You're coming in as the biggest underdog on the card, biggest underdog of the year, as so far as I can tell. Just go out there and have fun. And that's a man with no pressure on him, and he could just go out there and have some fun, and he could surprise everybody. I am taking Bobby Green to get the win. And then when you put that together on the accumulator, you've got 247.50 to 1. That is awful. That is an absolutely terrible bet. But yeah, I'll be breaking those down next week. I've got a lot of gigs for the first part of next week, so it may be Thursday that I'll get my next video out to kind of recap this and go over the news and everything. But let me know who you're betting on. I'd love to know. Are you coming with me on Bobby Green just to go along for the ride, just to dream big, and just believe in something, you know? That's what I'm going with. Until we get this broken down, obviously, thank you for your support. If you're watching this on the Patreon, thank you for subscribing to the Patreon. If you're not watching this on the Patreon, you'd have gotten these picks a day early if you'd have subscribed to the Patreon. So head on over to the Patreon. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.